going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today, I've got an underused match, and this one is actually against my boy Shofu. You guys have been requesting this for quite some time. We finally ended up getting a match in for you guys. It turned out to be a pretty damn good one. We usually have some pretty good battles whenever we do play. It's actually been a while since we've actually played against each other. But yeah, so looking at the team preview, I am pretty worried about some things. The main thing I am worried about is that Azumarill. If I lose my Amoonguss early, that thing can actually pretty much clean me up. So I gotta worry about that. I do want to keep Amoonguss around for that thing. Other than that, he's got some big threats like the Hydreigon, along with like the Cobalion, and overall, looks like a pretty decent matchup. So let's go ahead and just hop into the battle. Alright, so I'm actually going to be expecting him to lead off with his Fortress just to set up the hazards, but he ends up leading off with the Hydreigon, as I end up leading off with Goodra. The reason being is because I wanted to be able to hit that Fortress of the Flamethrower, but this actually isn't the worst matchup for me. I figure he's probably just going to stay in and go for the Draco Meteor. I know that I'm Assault Vested and specially defensive as titties. I mean, look at how thick this Goodra is. I eat that up very nicely, and this allows me to fire off a Draco Meteor of my own. We're having a nice little Draco off here. And that is actually going to end up taking out the Hydreigon, so that's actually amazing. I'm able to take care of one of the big threats that I was worried about pretty early, so that is awesome. Down goes that thing, and unfortunately Goodra took a lot of damage from that, so my special wall is pretty hindered, but I feel like it was worth it being able to get rid of that three-headed dragon. So now he's going to go into the Cobalion. I'm expecting him to probably just want to go ahead and set up the Stealth Rock here, as he ends up just going right for the close combat, as I'm going to switch into my Fun Guy, as I am able to take that really nicely. Obviously I resist the hell out of that. And Amoonguss is actually a really good answer to a lot of his team here. I know that it does really well against the Cobalion, along with the Azumarill, and overall it's just a really useful thing to have around. So I've got to play smart with this thing. But yeah, so he goes for the Stealth Rock there, as I'm just going to go for a Spore. Go ahead and make that thing trip out so hard that he falls asleep, and that's actually really nice because a sleeping Cobalion is, you know, not that scary of a Cobalion. So at this point, I wasn't too sure if he was going to stay in or not, but regardless, I'm actually going to end up switching into my Mamoswine as he brings in his Amoonguss of his own. So nice little double switch there. Actually ends up in his favor because he can two-hit KO me with a Giga Drain, but I do really want to get my Stealth Rock up. It's looking like I could really use some rocks on that side of the field, so I go for that, and he's actually going to end up going right for a Giga Drain here, which does a whole lot of damage. Mamoswine doesn't really like grass attacks too much, and yeah, so I don't really have much to hit this thing with. I can go for a knockoff, which is really all I could do. I don't have Icicle Crash on that thing, so I decided to actually switch into my Starmie. This is kind of an interesting play. I didn't think the Giga Drain was going to do as much as it did to Starmie. I'm max HP invested, and usually Amoonguss doesn't have a whole lot of special attack, so I wasn't sure how much that was really going to do, but I didn't expect it to be a 2-hit KO. But regardless, I'm going to go for the Rapid Spin here. I know that since that Cobalion's asleep, it's probably not going to be setting up Stealth Rock anytime soon, as I basically just end up sacking off my Starmie here. I kind of wanted to, the reason why I went into that thing was because I figured he would switch out. I tried to bluff the fact that I had Psychic, but he just ended up staying in and kills me with a Giga Drain. So now I bring in Goodra, and I go for the Thunderbolt, actually expecting a switch into the Azumarill, as he actually just ends up staying in. Thunderbolt obviously doesn't do too much, and he hits me with a Sludge Bomb, which is going to actually get the poison, which is unfortunate. So the prediction there didn't really work out for me. I just thought he was going to bring in the Azumarill trying to dodge a Draco Meteor, but now I'm just going to go right for the Draco, get as much damage off as I can before I die, and I'm able to do over half to that thing, which is really nice because Amoonguss is pretty damn scary, and it's kind of difficult to play around, so at least I'm able to do a decent amount of damage to that thing before I end up dying to my poison here, which does suck. So down goes Slime Shady, and I lose my special wall, but not too big of a deal here, as this allows me a revenge switch in. I decide to go right into damage here. I'm expecting him to probably want to switch, but I figure I'm just going to go right for the Flare Blitz anyway, as he ends up staying in, and that is actually going to take out the Amoonguss. So that's awesome. I hurt myself with a little bit of recoil, but luckily since I got rid of the Stealth Rocks with Starmie, Darmanitan is going to be able to switch in a whole lot more than I would be able to. So now he brings in the Azumarill. I don't know what kind of set this thing is. I'm really hoping that it's not the Belly Drum set, because that would be pretty damn unfortunate, as I'm just going to go ahead and switch into Amoonguss on this thing, but he actually makes a really nice double switch here, expecting me to go into Amoonguss. He's going to go into the Kyurem, so that is pretty damn scary, and I don't want to catch an Ice Beam to the Shroom, because that's, you know, it's gonna destroy me, and I don't have anything for the Azumarill, so I decided to go ahead and switch right into Face Paint here. I kind of just sack this thing off, so that way I can bring in a Revenge switch, so he hits me right in the eyes, and Mamoswine can't see a damn thing now, and for that reason I faint. So now I'm going to be able to switch right into Darmanitan. This is a good bit of momentum here. I can kind of scare this thing out, as he is just going to go right into the Cobalion, who is still nice and asleep, as I'm just going to go right for the Flare Blitz, which is going to end up taking this thing out. So killing the Cabalion is really nice because that thing is a threat, but also the fact that now that I killed his asleep Pokemon, I can go ahead and put something else to sleep later, so that is perfect. But now he's gonna go right back into the Azumarill. I'm obviously afraid of the Aqua Jets, and I don't want damage to stay in here and take that, so I have to switch, and I decide to go right into my Amoonguss, hoping that he doesn't go right back into the Kyurem again. He actually is going to switch it up here, and this time he goes right for the knockoff. Judging by that damage, I actually calculate and I've realized that he's probably going to be Choice Banded, so that's actually good to know. I don't have to worry about it actually setting up any freaking any belly drum. So I go for the Sludge Bomb on the switch as he ends up bringing in the Fortress. Not too big of a deal there, it doesn't affect it, but at this point I'm just gonna go ahead and put it to sleep. I know that this Walnut's gonna try to get up some hazard shenanigans on me, so I don't really want that to happen. And now it's asleep, so that is perfect. I actually do have Hidden Power Fire on this Amoonguss, basically just for stuff like Fortress. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay in and go for that. I know that this thing can't really hurt me with any attacking moves, so Amoonguss is pretty safe there. So I go for the Hidden Power Fire. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a 2-hit KO, and he actually wakes up first turn and is able to get a Rapid Spin off, which does really kind of suck because having those Stealth Rocks on his side of the field are really nice. But really not a whole lot I can do. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and Spore him again. I'm like, get your ass back to sleep. I didn't expect him to wake up first turn, so I have to Spore him again, which really isn't the end of the world. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and stay in here and go for another Hidden Power Fire. I really just want to whittle this thing down. The only really thing I have for this Fortress would be my Darmanitan on my team, so it's going to be nice to be able to take this thing out just with a Amoonguss. And I'm really glad that I have Hidden Power Fire on this thing, because it really helps out. So he actually wakes up again first turn. And I'm like, damn it, my Spore luck is just absolutely terrible today, as he is able to get a layer of spikes on the ground, which does kind of suck because it's gonna limit my switches here. And yeah, so here's actually a really important play. I figured he would know that I was just gonna go right for another Hidden Power Fire, seeing as it was gonna take him out, and there's really no reason to Spore him. But I predict him to switch. Actually, he does bring in the Kyurem, expecting me to go for the Hidden Power Fire, but I'm actually just gonna go ahead and Spore this thing right to sleep. And I'm really just hoping that this thing stays asleep for more than one freaking turn, because my luck's been just really terrible with that. So I decided to switch into my Sharpedo here. It's really the only thing I can do at this point. Amoonguss doesn't have a whole lot to do to it, and I do want to switch out to be able to get that Regenerator, just in case. So he does still stay asleep there, as I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve at this point. Go ahead and bust out the Mega Sharpedo like a damn beast. Only half a shark, but I got what I lack in a tail, I make up for in Crunch Power. So I hit that thing really hard with a Crunch, and he luckily does stay asleep there. He's not able to take me out, and obviously I outspeed, so one more Crunch is going to be able to take that thing out, but he's actually going to end up switching here as he brings in the Fortress, basically just for death fodder, so that way he can be able to bring in the Azumarill. Seeing as I don't have anything that can actually take the Azumarill out in one hit with Sharpedo, that's a nice play. So he brings in this thing, and the only really thing I can do here is just go ahead and switch right back into Amoonguss, as I'm hoping he just locks himself into the Play Rough, as I get hurt by a little bit of spikes, and he does go ahead and Play Rough with me, which I do take pretty damn nicely because I'm actually max defense on this Amoonguss, so it works perfectly. So now he's just going to go for one more Play Rough, and I do actually live that perfectly, and this allows me to go for a Sludge Bomb. That's actually really important because that Sludge Bomb is going to knock this thing into range where Mega Sharpedo will be able to pick it off. So he is going to finish off Fungi with one more Play Rough, which is unfortunate, but I kind of did my job with that. I whittled down the Azumarill to the point where now I can just bring right back in Sharpedo, and I'm just going to go for a Psychic Fangs to ensure that this Azumarill goes down, but he's actually just going to switch right back into the Kyurem, who is still asleep, basically just to die. The reason for that is so that he can bring back in his Azumarill in a minute here and be able to try to go for a Choice Banded Aqua Jet and to get as much damage as possible. So down goes the spooky Ice Dragon. That is a great sight to see, and at this point all he has left is the Azumarill, and all I have left is Sharpedo and Darmanitan. So I gotta hope that he doesn't get a crit here. He goes for the Aqua Jet. Luckily, I am able to live that nicely, and a Psychic Fangs is gonna take care of the Azumarill. So that is gonna be the end of the battle there. Mecha Sharpedo came in pretty clutch, and it's always pretty intense whenever I play Shofu. So that was pretty damn fun. But I've actually got a little bonus for you guys. We had another battle here on the same tier. We played an underused again with different teams, and as you'll see, this one actually went by pretty quick, and it wasn't worthy of a single upload. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how that went. So I'm just using a random team that I threw together, and looking at the team preview, I've actually seen the team that he's using a bunch of times on Showdown, and I know exactly what it does, but it's honestly, it's really difficult to beat, and it's kind of just a gimmick that is just really pretty damn scary overall. So basically what this team does is it leads off with the Auroras to set up the Hail. You let that thing die, and then essentially you bring in the Sand Slash to set up the Aurora Veil. And then once that happens, you have three options for Belly Drummers. You can go into Lanoon, Kommo-o, or Azumarill to set up the Belly drum, and then it's kind of just a matter of time after that. So let's get this shit. So I decided to just lead off with my Rotom Washington, basically just to go ahead and get the Volt Switch. As he ends up leading off with his Aurorus, I want to break that Focus Sash because then I can, bring in something and then just kill it. So he sets up the Snow Warning, and that kind of, that's unfortunate. It's hailing, it's cold as shit out here, and he's just gonna set up them Stealth Rocks. So I go for the Volt Switch. It is gonna break this thing's Focus Sash, and then this allows me to bring in my Infernape, who can just basically, just close combat this thing to death. But essentially, this thing kind of just did what it needed to do already, which is just setting up the Hail. He also got the Stealth Rock up, and that thing, just did its job. So down goes that thing, and feeling good. So now he's gonna bring in the Sand Slash, brings in Cold Cuts, which is, the best Alolan Sand Slash nickname ever, as he does set up the Aurora Veil, which, if you're not familiar, it is basically just a Light Screen and Reflect all in one, and I'm just going to go for the Overheat, which does take out that thing. So I've got 2 Pokemon down, but he does still have his Sweepers behind an Aurora Veil, and I don't have a whole lot to hit him with. So now he's going to bring in Mediocre, the Kuma-O, as I'm just going to switch out here. I decided to go into Rotom Wash, hoping maybe, I know he's going to Belly Drum, I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to get a Will-O-Wisp on this thing, and then maybe be able to take some attacks, but as he slaps his belly, goes ahead and maximizes his attack. He's at +6. Behind an Aurora Veil, I wouldn't even be able to kill this thing if I had Ice Beam at this point. But I'm just going to go for a Will-O-Wisp as he ends up going for the Substitute, which brings him down to the point where he actually gets his Salac Berry, which raises his speed. And obviously my Will-O-Wisp is not going to hit this thing behind a Substitute. So I am pretty much fucked at this point, as he is able to go for a Drain Punch, which with +6, that is going to take care of Rotom Wash. And it also puts him back to freaking full health. So after the Salac Berry, I figure, maybe I will still be faster with a Scarf Nidoking, so I go for that. And I believe it actually ends up being a speed tie that he wins, so that is pretty damn unfortunate. So he kills me with a Fire Punch, and that is pretty much the game here, seeing as I don't have anything that is fast as this thing after the Salac. I can go for the Mach Punch to try to break the Substitute, but behind the Aurora Veil, it's not going to break that. And he's just going to proceed to kind of, just Drain Punch me. And this is the first time I've been swept by Kuma-O. And honestly, this team is just absolutely scary as hell. It's an interesting strategy. With the 3 Belly Drummers, there's really unless you have a team specifically built to counter this type of thing, it's not gonna end up too well for you. So I also bring in my Shippy Cray, as I go for an Aqua Jet, and obviously not going to break it, and he's at full health now. So that is pretty much the game. At this point, all I can really do is just kind of switch into myself to take a Drain Punch to the face. So that is going to be the end of this battle, but as you can see why we ended up having more than one match. But yeah, just wanted to toss this in there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed. And oh shit, Optimus actually lived something. Look at that, that's pretty damn amazing. I actually do get a Heavy Slam off, which is gonna take care of the Substitute. So at least I broke the damn beanbag. But that's fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Shofu's channel. His link will be in the description. If you don't already follow this man, you definitely should be already. But yeah, so peace out, guys.